Hey, you're watching Dina Doll and Don Lemon talking about all the news and information that you need going into your weekend so that you'll be informed, but you won't be inundated and you'll at least know, and then you can pick it back up on Monday. But take time for your weekend. Also, though, make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like, the heart, smash the screen. More people become aware of our channel if you do that for us, okay? And then follow us on all platforms, Dina Doll and Don Lemon. Okay, let's talk about Letitia James because
Mhm.
this is not going well for Donald Trump's revenge on his political rivals. First, it was Comey's that was knocked out. Then it was Letitia James that was knocked out. Then they tried to refile it and do it, and the grand jury says we're not going to approve this prosecution. They're going to try to refile it now, I understand, but this is not a good week for the Trump administration legally.
It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing, and it goes to show why, you need facts actually in the law, and frankly, you know, we know it came out that Halligan, the first time around, kind of lied about the law, right? Talked about, you know, evidence in a way that you're not supposed to do it with a grand jury, like whether or not somebody testifies and presenting evidence or not, how that could be used against them. And it makes you wonder if maybe that is why she was even able to get the indictment the first time around. The fact that they couldn't indict it, such a victory for Letitia James, and they may never be able to. Or if they do, I mean, it's one thing to indict them, it's a whole other thing to convict them. I don't even know why they would go down this road because this bodes for a loss in court with Letitia James taking a victory lap speech at the end, which I would love to see. So they do it at their peril. They continue to do it at their peril.
That I did see reporting earlier this morning that the belief was, according to the report, that they were going to refile it and they were going to try to refile it as soon as today. So as we're taping this, they have not refiled it, and I think it was going to be, from some prosecutor and some strange, I don't know. It has nothing to do with the jurisdiction. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, because most of the career prosecutors, as you know, decided not to get involved in the case because they thought that there weren't enough facts and evidence. And, that's the thing is prosecutors tend to only prosecute cases they think they can win, right? Most prosecutors want to have like um, you know, a, um, not like a sheet of like undefeated. I've been undefeated in trial. For them to do this when there aren't enough facts and evidence, it's a bad look for them. And like I said, it's much harder to actually convince a jury than it is to convince a grand jury. The grand jury is much easier to get an indictment.
So you don't think they stand a chance, and it would be a mistake, you think, to refile this?
I think it would be a mistake because then you go to trial. You're not done, right? You're not like, oh, okay, we're indicted, and that was our end goal. The end goal is to get a conviction,
Just
really.
want to embarrass her, right, and put her through hell, financially, right, and publicly.
What's interesting, though, what I think about this is because Trump himself always said that he thought that was the best political move for him, right? All of his criminal proceedings. And he sure did milk it, right? He had his little press conference every day after his New York state criminal trial. And he fundraised off of it. It's funny because I think that if it was true for him, why does he not think it's true for Letitia James? I think Letitia James's profile has already risen quite a bit with this. And if anything, I think it makes her stronger, a more visible leader in the Democratic Party. And he knows this, but he still does it anyway. He's hard to understand sometimes.
Yeah, the weird thing is, well, it's true what you said about Letitia James's profile, and I said the same thing about Mark Kelly when they said,
Mm,
when the six Democrats
yeah.
came out and said you don't have to follow unlawful orders if you are a member of the military. Basically, just saying what's in the Code of Justice and the Code of Conduct for military personnel, and they went after Mark Kelly, and I said, why don't
Hmm.
they just make him president now? If you're going to
Yeah.
go after someone with that many stars and bars, on their
Seriously.
chest, and the accomplishments, and the husband of Gabby Giffords, like,
Yeah.
really, are you sure you
Right.
want to do this?
and from a swing state and the most moderate politician. We're not talking about some extreme left person. For him to win in Arizona, he's a moderate Democrat. I thought the same thing. And I thought even beyond making him president, what a bad move for the state of Arizona. They like him. Republicans need to win Arizona for the next presidential cycle. Why would you attack a senator that way? Yeah, he's,
Yeah. His political calculations are off on this one.
I agree.
But maybe they'll push it through. Let's talk about the pipe bomb suspect. So we'll watch the Letitia James story. So this is all the news that's going to get us into the weekend. The
Yeah.
pipe bomb suspect, on Thursday, they arrested this man they believe is responsible for placing pipe bombs near the U.S. Capitol complex. This was nearly 5 years ago. This was on January 6th. I guess he would have put them there on January 5th, the evening before. Brian J. Cole Jr. is his name, 30 years old, being charged with transportation of an explosive device via interstate commerce and attempted malicious destruction by means of an explosive device. That's according to the arrest warrant filed in the case. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the investigation continues and more charges may be added. Now, again, according to a report, he was a Trump supporter, but also surprising, he's black. I mean, usually this is, when you look at these things, it's like a young or sort of middle-aged, disenfranchised,
Right.
disgruntled, aggrieved white guy. This time it's the suspect at least, is a black MAGA supporter. What do you say? There's a lot of conspiracy theories I'm hearing about this. What do you think?
I know, it's crazy. The more the government lies to us, like, on a daily basis, you start to think that they're lying about a lot more stuff because it is the timing of this is, red alarm bells because as we know, Kash Patel just had that huge 150-page memo leak about what a disaster he is running the department. He's using security detail for his girlfriend and walking her friends home and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden they get this break in the case. It could be true, but the timing of it makes me suspicious.
It does. And you're a very level-headed, legal-minded attorney. Why is that, Dina?
Why am I suspicious or am I level-headed?
No, why are you suspicious? That's what I want to know.
Because, I mean, Kash Patel is that Trump is not happy with him, right? Trump likes to not have his people look bad. He wants, this is an entertainment world we are living in. We are living in Trump's version of a reality show. He makes people dress the part, and act the part. And Kash Patel's not acting the And so you knew Kash Patel had to do something to keep his job and make the boss happy. And frankly, he lies all the time, Kash Patel. So, it's hard to trust. I think that's the problem. It's hard to trust when you have been lied to so much by this Trump administration.
So, I mean, what is the conspiracy theory here then? What is the doubt
Yeah.
that you had that this is a distraction that they somehow came up with this? Because people think, Dina, we're getting into
Yeah.
conspiracy, which let's just be honest, we're being conspiratorial here. Are we
Right.
investigating the conspiratorial questions that people have out there? Okay, so same thing. They said the same thing about Butler, Pennsylvania, that it was staged. They said
Yeah.
that there was some sort of people believe that there was something nefarious about the election and the tabulation and the results. They're also saying you've heard what Charlie Kirk, what Candace Owens is saying about Charlie Kirk, and others on the right, Nick Fuentes, et cetera, that it was somehow staged, it was a hoax. They're saying that it was somehow they are plants or something or assets for Israel, all kinds of things here.
Mhm.
So let's explore that. Why are people coming up with these sort of conspiracy theories?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think conspiracy theories have existed forever, right? Like JFK, the assassination, the second shooter. But frankly, if you look at that, the shooter did die, get killed kind of conveniently. I think that here's the thing. I think our government, especially with the assassination, let's talk about that first. there was no transparency, right? There was no doctor's report about it other than like his good friend. He did seem to heal his ear rather quickly. And I think it's the lack of transparency that makes people suspect and that allows for conspiracy theories in that case. And then with the Charlie Kirk shooting, I thought those FBI texts about the shooter were odd, very oddly written. I don't know anybody that young that is so oddly written. But again, we think, oh, Kash Patel is in charge. He fired these people in Utah. Again, it's this idea you're marrying like an administration that's willing to lie with zero transparency. And I think when you put those two together, it allows for doubt. And then in this situation, I think it's just the timing of it. It's possible that this suspect has been in their investigation, right? They probably didn't completely pluck him out of nowhere. That would be my guess.
No.
They probably had a few people that they were looking at, but for them to like reveal his name now may have been without all of the, let's say, confidence that they normally would have to reveal a suspect, but the timing of it was helpful to them. I think it's probably more something like that than he wasn't at all on their radar. It was more of, but it could also just be, hey, Cash Patel happened to get a win. That's the problem is when you have people that lie constantly. And, that it's hard not to think that they're lying more.
I'm looking for new information on the suspect and more on this, report that he was a MAGA supporter or, but I can't find it. But I know that, gosh, I forget, Ken something it was reported on Twitter by a legitimate source. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, how did they know he's a Trump supporter? I think he admitted it maybe as he was, being interviewed. But I think that says a lot about how political violence and the messaging around political violence and riling people up has become commonplace in the
Mhm.
Trump era, and that is very problematic because even no matter if he's a Trump supporter or not a Trump supporter or whatever it is, it's just that this sort of language and behavior that co-ops people, and especially people who are disturbed in some way, that may motivate them to into political violence. I think that has been the product of the last 10 years of MAGA. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%. And it's impossible in a country of over 300 million not to have like one person be radicalized enough to want to shoot somebody. And I think the more that the right talks about the rhetoric coming out of the Democrats being the problem, I think the more they distract from the fact that the problem is guns. And we need to regulate guns. We need to get AK-47s off the street. And I wish that as Democrats would not just be like, no, you're the ones that are causing the rhetoric. No, you're the ones that are causing the rhetoric. I think that we feed into the distraction. The distraction is guns, and we should be like laser focused on that because it is impossible to really eliminate somebody who wants to do harm. Right? But when they have you take away their machine guns, they will do less harm or they're easier to stop or whatever.
Yeah, but this time I mean, you'd have to take away their ability to be able to buy you know, the the ingredients that can create a pipe bomb. And I mean, that's very difficult to do. That's why I
Yeah.
said that's why I believe you have to be careful about language. But
Mhm.
I just found the story, it just popped up. I'm like, where is the information? Um, That's why we have to be careful about language, and Donald Trump is not careful about language. He's not
No.
careful about facts. He just puts out, whatever he wants into social media, or he gets on, every day in a briefing and he says something that is false, even about the economy lately. At the lighting of the
My gosh.
Christmas tree in
Yeah.
Washington, D.C., he's touting the economy and talking about how good it is and how has gotten rid of inflation and all this. And all of it is a lie. And it's like, why is he doing this at the lighting of the Christmas tree? What does that have to
Mhm.
do with anything? It shows to me just how petty he is, just how immature he is, just how desperate he is for some sort of attention. And, what is it? adulation, and he needs confirmation all the time, right? Like he needs a
Yeah.
participation trophy or ribbon all the time.
Oh my gosh, his ego just cannot be satisfied, and we are all suffering as a result of it. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Well, what happens? What do you believe that does to us? Because we've been around long enough to know how this ends, and it well, not ends, but what could happen next, I should say, especially
Mm,
when we're hearing, and this was 5 years ago, Dina. His rhetoric has
yeah,
ratcheted up. His
yeah.
brazenness has ratcheted up, and as an attorney, what happens to people. You've seen people become radicalized.
Mhm. Oh, it is disturbing for sure, and I think it percolates not just even with people who are political. This idea of meanness is somehow strength, I I think is harmful to our society as a whole. I don't know, like in England, I heard that they have this thing where they have like a neighborhood picnic. Have you heard about this? It was like I think it was like a year or two ago, and I think like Camilla, the queen there, like fostered it, where all the neighborhoods went out and had picnics on the same day, and could we even do that? I mean, this idea of like our community being so fractured and not just political. I think this Trump from the beginning has been so hateful to so many groups, and he takes it as a point of pride, and all of his followers feel the same way. And
Mm,
I think it's so harmful, like to your point about violence, like who knows what that's going to happen years from now, but it's also really separated people.
mhm.
People don't feel like they need to be nice to each other. And so where do we go from there even? This is, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's people who don't talk to their family, right? Because of how their family members talk about certain groups of people because Trump has made that okay. And that's tough. Like I think on a personal level, that's I don't know how that even gets resolved.
Yeah, I'm just looking at I like to read some of the comments. They said that you had a problem with your mic earlier, but it is
Oh,
fine. It was a little fuzzy, but it's fine now. So I've been
okay.
looking down because I've been trying to get the information. It says that, let's see, the authorities have yet to disclose a motive for planting bombs outside the Republican and Democratic national headquarters on the eve of the congressional certification of Joseph R. Biden Jr.'s victory in the 2020 presidential election. Mr. Cole told investigators he was sympathetic to President Trump's claim that the election was stolen from him, according to a person familiar with the matter. So the lack of breakthroughs in the case led many to promote unfounded theories about the bombs and the storming of the Capitol by a pro Trump mob, including the suggestion that this may have been done to discredit Mr. Trump's supporters. But this is apparently, according to
Mm,
the sources and the reporting, a Donald Trump supporter. Look, anyone who does this has issues, right?
yeah.
And not you can't blame directly Trump for this, but indirectly you can cite, I believe, the rhetoric, the behavior, and the actions that may have contributed to someone doing this, the environment that may have contributed to it.
Yeah, it was not in our political discourse before he came about. It just wasn't.
Not that we didn't have political violence, but it was not in our political. It wasn't acceptable before. Yeah.
Exactly. Or encouraged even. I mean, remember when he encouraged the first time around on one of his rallies, like, yeah, go ahead and beat that guy in his
Yes.
rally. I mean, and we all talked about it at the time. That sends the wrong message. Well, sure enough, he keeps doing it and it makes it worse.
Alyssa in the chat wants to know, says, Dina, who do you think would be a great AG after the Trump term is over?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Maybe Letitia James?
You think so?
I think she'd be fantastic at it, unless she wants to actually run for political office.
Oh. Oh. Interesting. I thought she perhaps did want to run,
Yeah,
and that people were speculating about that. But what would she
right.
run for?
I know. What would she run for? Well, you might know better than I do about that. whether or not, I don't know if she'd run for governor, probably not. She probably wouldn't run against Kathy Hochul, but or president. But if she doesn't run for office, I think she would be fantastic in that role. We definitely need somebody like her, whoever it is, somebody who, I mean, Merrick Garland was way too afraid, to do the job. He was,
Can't even.
it's painful. Like, everybody blames the Supreme Court, but I blame him because it was obvious the Supreme Court was going to have to take that case. Come on, it's the first time you've ever criminally indicted a former president. Like, you had to give time for the appellate process to work out, and he didn't. So we need somebody who's willing to go in day one and clean up a lot of stuff and prosecute people who need to be prosecuted, and I think she would be great at that if she wants the job.
What's the most important thing? What's the biggest thing on your mind right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, how about some of the corruption? Just the plain old, Kristi Noem, right? Funneling hundreds of millions of dollars from that border project to her own companies. There's so much corruption. What about the Don Jr. just getting the Pentagon? It's loan one of his ventures, hundreds of millions of dollars. Trump grifting off the presidency. I mean, I think we should go to the corruption first, because that's probably going to be the easiest. And people should not be stealing taxpayer money and putting it in their own pockets. So we need to send a message on that. And there's going to be a lot. I mean, this Hexa thing is just starting. We're not even a year in.
Jeff Kuchenbecker says, I recommend Glenn Kirshner.
Oh, yeah. He would be great too if he wants it.
And what about Dina Doll?
I'm not sure I want that job.
Well, Dina, thank you for settling the week and getting us into the weekend. And we'll see what happens over the weekend. And next. By the way, Dina, I want to make sure you can be a part of it if you want, but at least make sure that you tune in for our New Year's Eve special. I'm going to be live in New Orleans for my live stream. So tell all of your followers and come, maybe I'll dial you up if you're in wherever you are, New York, LA, wherever you are. You're spending New Year's Eve.
Fun. I'd love that. Well, Don,
New Orleans.
I totally was thinking about your New Year's Eve, because when we did the live and it was counting down, it was 10, 9, 8. I was like, oh, this is like Don's New Year's Eve event.
So much fun. So guys,
you're going to have fun
about it. Go to donlemon.com. Donlemon.com has everything about the show, but it also has everything about our New Year's Eve special there. And make sure you follow Dina on all of the platforms and on social media. It's just Dina Doll, right? All over?
Yeah, it's Ask Dina Doll on the socials, and then just Dina Doll on Substack. Exactly.
Dina, I'll see you on Substack. I'll see you on YouTube. I'll see you anywhere that we can get together and discuss things and
love
make sense of it with people. Thank you. The great Dina Doll. I'll see you later.
Have a great weekend.
A great one. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.